Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got a great show lined up. A couple of special guests here. But first, let's take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and hard-working crew take care of our everyday comfort needs. And we've got to get comfortable in rain and hot, and then rain again and hot again. So just take care, stay safe out there, especially with the lightning and all. Our high today is going to be 86, low 76. Gulf temperature at the end of the pier, 86.5. Let's take a look at our river reading brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. Take a look at Apalachicola at Bluntstown. It's reading this morning at 3.8, and it went up a little bit last couple of days. It's going down a little bit now. And the Choctaw at Carabille is reading a 3.9. They're almost identical again. We had a little bump yesterday in the Choctawhatchee, but it's sort of going back down. But you know, the rain, we're getting a lot of rain. The pattern, we're getting coastal showers in the morning and inland showers after lunch. Seems like a strong pattern here for the next couple of days of this kind of activity. Tide chart, we talked about how strong the tides are this week. The high tide this morning is 8:56 and low is 7:54. Great tide this week, really looking good. Wind direction, south-southeast at about 8 to 10. I'll take a break and come back with our special guest. Okay, welcome back. You recognize our guest, part of the Panhandle Outdoors team.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, sir.
Always great to see you all. Well, you're talking about some things on air. We got to stop talking about them. I mean, as you come on air, 'cause, we'll talk about them later. We got all kinds of things to talk about. We've got so much information I haven't been on lately. But first, we want to talk about the banquet coming up. Let's get that done first, and then we'll talk about this other stuff. But right here, check this out. Tell us about it, Ken.
Well, before I get started, I want to talk to you for a second.
Okay.
Since we started, Winston and Panhandle Outdoors has been a loyal sponsor, has taken and given us airtime for 8 years now. This will be our 8th year having a banquet, and Winston has been there since the start, along with Ronnie Groom and some others. So all I wanted to do is give you an appreciation new logo, sponsor cap,
check that out,
as our appreciation for having us and promoting our banquet for now going on 8 years.
Wow, thank you very much.
And to our producer,
Jeff. All right. There you go. All right. Well, thank you very much. The accolades go to you two guys for all of the hard work y'all have done. I know you've had a team of folks helping you, but y'all sort of took the bull by the horn at about 2015.
We got approached by NWTF, and they had a new regional director that was trying to get chapters restarted in the Panhandle, and he also had Lower Alabama. Mm-hmm. And we had meetings and got our heads together, and this, although we've had to cancel, this was our actually 8th year of planning of having one, even though we've had to cancel in the past. So yeah. I hope to have as big a one as we've ever had.
All right.
And we're kind of on track to do that, but we're a little short of where we were numbers of sponsors last year, by just 2 or 3. So if we could acquire 2, maybe 3 more sponsors, we'll be right at a record for us in this 8-year progression that we've been trying to build and raise monies, obviously, for NWTF. You know, NWTF went through some tough times 2 years ago. COVID killed their nationwide efforts. You know, the banquets were canceled nationwide. Yeah. They were about to go under. They have now climbed back. I went to a state board meeting Saturday. They're up to 185,000 members nationwide now. So wow. They're on track to get 200,000 hopefully by the end of September. And that'll be back about where they were. So we're gonna be doing our part.
That's great. It's so important to have organizations like this, but this is a special organization because it's sort of grassroots. It starts with these guys like this. Here's the info on the screen right here. It's going to be Friday week now. It's going to be Bay County Longbeards Hunting Heritage, August the 19th at downtown at First United Methodist Church. Tell us about it. Doors open 5:30, so what goes on from there?
Well, they can come and actually come about 5:30. By 6 o'clock, there's an opportunity for them to see some of the stuff people can bid on, Winston. And then we're going to start serving somewhere between 6:45 to 7. I just talked to the chef. And by the way, we got a wonderful meal. We've got Boston butt, chicken, green beans, you name it that goes with it. And even his signature banana pudding. Jim is the name of the chef there, and everybody that goes to First United Methodist knows Jim. So great cook. So awesome. Then we'll have the actual banquet. And Ken mentioned it. It goes without saying, we're just a pass-through group. We both love to turkey hunt, but this is not about turkey hunting. It's about growing turkeys throughout the country, and particularly the Southeast. And numbers are down in some states. Numbers of turkeys are down in some states.
We're going to talk about that in a minute, about the habitat and all, but get back to the banquet. You're going to have auctions and all kinds of stuff, right? You've got a whole
Oh yeah, we've already received the banquet package. I think there's about 15 items that will be normal auction items, and we'll have a silent auction. I heard from our director the other day that we're going to have 8 or 10 guns on separate raffles. We've still got some stuff left over from last year that we'll be raffling off, so we hope to have a good one.
We talk about this all the time. As outdoorsmen, we need to bond together whenever we can for these good causes, and these organizations like this, these are good causes, and it's just the fellowship there. I just love seeing everybody.
It is, Winston.
It's a good time.
It's a nice group of people, men, women. We have children
families
there, and we heartily encourage people to get involved with their kids and go hunting.
And being on the state,
take them outdoors.
The state board. I'm treasurer of the state board now, and by being on the state board, I see where the money is going and what they use it for, more so than, because the general public asks us all the time, well, where does my membership money go to? And the monies are divvied up. They're called Superfund monies. And from banquets, they go back to the states, a portion of them. And the states have a board, like the board I'm on, and we sit down once a year and decide where to distribute the money. Goes to public land only. We get a list from FWC and the biologists from NWTF of prioritized list of wildlife management areas throughout the state. And we hash out and wrangle and prioritize those projects. It could be burning, it could be mowing, it could be mulching, it could be studies, and that's where you see where your money goes.
That's cool. That's cool.
And it's all available publicly, so there's, other than administrative stuff, which everybody has, it's a nonprofit organization. So
that's cool. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, come right back with Ken and Stan. Okay, welcome back. I like this, Ken. That's nice.
You there?
Thank you very much. Okay, listen, wrapping up on the banquet, people can pay at the door if they want to, right?
Yes. We, if they want to pay by credit card, we have a credit card machine at the door. We prefer to at least have a contact where they can let us know that they're coming so we can get our head count in for the food. But we will have tickets at the door, and they're more than welcome to come to the door.
Right.
Be nice to have a heads up so we can add them to our, because our cook's got a plan for the meals.
Right.
Yep. We're in daily discussion almost with them about, how much to prepare and that sort of thing. So we have to pay for all that. So anyway, but
a lot of people behind the scenes are helping y'all too. You got a team effort too, people helping y'all.
Got a few.
We got a few.
Oh, wow, I say a few people.
It has dwindled.
It used to be a bunch of people.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's like anything else.
I know.
Yeah,
all right.
It's not unusual because the chapters are like that throughout the state.
I understand. So we appreciate what y'all do. We really
Thank
do.
you.
All right, moving on to, we got all kinds of other things to talk about. But Stan, didn't you go backpacking something recently?
Oh yeah, I went with a group. It was a large group. There was 23 of us, I think, that went up at Bryson City. For people that have never been, they got wonderful tubing, and you can float on rafts. You got to go through some training there at the Nantail Outdoor Center. But went with a nice group. It was led by David Vickers. David and his wife live in Lynn Haven, but anyway, just a real nice group. Several families went, and I was amazed at the energy by some of these young ones. They come to the bottom of some of these mountains, and it's 700 and 800 feet that you've got to climb. And of course, you've got the Appalachian Trail, and I've been doing this for close to 30 years, but these young ones, they just hit it, and they don't ever slow up.
Y'all spend a night on trail any?
Oh yeah, four nights. Now I actually, in all fairness, I came off the trail after day 3. I said I'd had enough, and I called a guy. He came and got me, and nicest guy in the world, who's in his 80s, and he and I talked, and he took me, showed me a lot of things about the area and where he went to school as a kid. You know, like I say, he was in his 80s, but I enjoyed it. It was great, and I encourage people, if they've never done it, to.
Well, we talk about doing it every year on the Appalachian Trail. If you know, it's a great time, and all.
Yeah.
Well, Ken, how was your snapper season?
Well, I went about 5 times.
Okay.
I managed a few snapper each time, but I didn't have the greatest. I stayed inshore due to fuel. We had weather issues, especially the first month, or the first 30 days. But I counted up the other day. I went 5 times with my wife or a friend of mine, and we managed 14 legal snapper.
Oh, good.
So it was average about 2 to 3 a trip, and some other mixed stuff. But it was really, for me, it was really slow. The biggest fish I caught was a 22-inch fish, which is a good fish, but not a great fish. And the last couple of years, I haven't been able to do much as far as size. But when you talk to people that are getting the really big ones and really getting them consistently, they're running 30, 40, 50 miles off. And I'm not going to do that in a single engine boat, number one, and number two, the amount of fuel it would take. You still only can keep 2 fish. They eat the same, if they're 16 inches or 22 inches.
Well, the restaurant's going to serve that size, right? They're not going to serve the big ones.
Part of the problem is for people like Ken, that is a recreational fisherman, you're coming after the commercial guys get an opportunity to go out there. They get the first stab at it because they're for hire.
Right.
They get, and then these places that are near shore get worked over. They get hammered.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to save fuel and be wise, economy-wise, you're left with places that have been nailed.
And fuel at the marina is $6 a gallon.
Whoa,
So
$6 a gallon.
if you pull, and you can get it less if you tow to the gas station, but I bought it on the water before because you needed it, and it was pushing $6 a gallon.
Yeah.
Now it's not there now, but it was.
And you can't take a chance on it. You got to go and get it.
Yeah.
And these guys fish in a tournament. It's not unusual. The Mexico Beach and at sea quarters, it's not unusual for them to get 100 gallons of gas.
I know.
Easily.
Yeah.
I had a friend that one day I was at the house, and he came by, and he walked out there, and he opened his ice chest up, and there was 4 or 5 nice snapper in there, and he handed me a snapper, and that was so good. There's various ways. Ben Redding, a local retired attorney, cooks the best snapper I've ever had, and he uses olive oil, and he slices fish, and then he puts I can't remember now the seasoning on it, but anyway, he bakes it on a grill, and it bakes it for quite a while. And that is the best snapper I have ever had.
It's good fresh.
It is good fresh. But whether you have it like that or you fry it in pieces, that's the way we do it. We scale them and then fry it in pieces that are 1 inch by 1 inch, basically, something like that, a chunk. And it's just a nice cut of meat.
Yeah, that's good. How do y'all cook it?
Well, last I did, I blackened it, but you can't beat fried fish.
I know. Well, you're right. But when it's fresh, when it's just coming out, when it's fresh, I don't care if it could be scallops, it could be snapper, it could be pompano.
Yeah.
When it's coming out of the water onto the table, it's something special about it. And we're blessed, I talk all the time, to live here to be able to get all that.
And they fight good. That's another attraction, is how they fight.
Oh my goodness, the excitement of doing it,
Yeah. So it's good.
Yep.
And I took my grandson the other day, his first wade fishing
I showed
trip
that picture. Tell us about the trip.
I saw that. Yeah, he's 9 years old, and he had been wanting to go. And of course, I'm nervous. I don't want anything to happen to him. I don't want him to step on something, and But he caught a 22-inch speckled trout. And then Jamie Marler, my son-in-law, caught a 26-inch trout. So we had and he caught 3 flounder that were beautiful, but they were all just under the 14-inch limit. So we had to 14-inch size limit. So we had to release them.
I was telling people we got a flounder trip. The video will be next week, but we went. I went with another guy. We caught. I mean, we were able to get legally 4, but we were limited out. We saw so many 12 and 13 inches. When they raised it from 12 inches to 14, that put a hurting on as far as getting. I mean, we would have limited out an hour. We saw so many of them about that size. So I know what you're talking about.
I talked to one of the officers the other day. He told me he had been fishing in a local place. He said they released 13 or 14 fish that day that were too small. And he said they had a couple of keepers.
Yeah, same trip. We're going to take our final break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Here with our special guest, former FWC officers, and we sure miss him and working with FWC. But I know you enjoy your retirement, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Real quick, our fishing game time. One time today, 10:34 to 12:34, brought to us by Blue Water. Remember, the full moon is tomorrow night. Now, Ken, we got several things to cover. Stan, I missed you being on TV telling about all these, the good things and bad things that happened. You were always there to tell about on FWC, giving a report, and we just don't see that much anymore. But it makes me have more, and other people too, talk about a deep appreciation we have for the job you did. And you were in law enforcement. So how many years were you with them?
35.
35 years, and worked your way up to, he was head of the area. So when we're talking about law enforcement, you were watching the show the other day, so tell us what was going on.
Well, I noticed the other day you were talking about the fishermen and hunters that get harassed by the public and not having a legal person to come on and explain. I said, well, I remember, a case that I've been involved in several cases of hunter and fishing harassment over the years. And I had an investigations group at one time, so we worked some of it too. But it all started years ago when people were harassing hunters up north by walking through the woods and banging pots and pans and blowing their horns. And so most of the states have adopted, rules and statutes about interfering with lawful hunting and fishing. Mm-hmm. And so the state of Florida, and I forget what year it was, but they passed a law. And when I left, I brought a law book with me.
That was a law book.
That's a law book. It used to be about a little bitty book. But anyway, it's a state statute, and it says a person may not intentionally within a publicly or privately owned wildlife management area or fish management area, or here's the key, or any state-owned water body. So it's public water body. You cannot interfere with or attempt to prevent the lawful taking of fish, game, or non-game animals by another person. You can't attempt to disturb fish, game, or non-game or affect their behavior with the intent to prevent lawful taking by another. And it's punishable by a misdemeanor. Now, we had a case in South Florida years ago when I was stationed down there that these guys they fish docks down there day and night, mm-hmm. and a lot of the docks have lights on them which attract bait fish, and they fish for snook and redfish and trout at night or late afternoon around docks, and they come by boat. Mm-hmm. And some people with houses with docks, in water, they don't want people back there fishing around their dock. So we got a complaint that these people kept harassing them in various ways. Every time they came back there on their boat, they'd walk out or run out on the dock and start yelling and screaming at them or tell them to leave or we're going to call the law. And then it got to the extreme where the guy started coming out there with rocks and cinder blocks, and he started throwing those concrete blocks in the water when they're sitting out there trying to fish. And he said, well, if you're not going to leave, I'm going to mess up your fishing. And he starts throwing junk overboard and splashing and carrying on. So we got the complaint, and we had investigations down there. So we took a couple officers and put them in plain clothes put him in a plain boat, and went down there and parked off the dock. And of course, here he comes, and you know, it didn't take too long. And he started in the same annex, and lo and behold, we went on shore and ended up writing him a ticket and arrested him for harassing lawful fishing. Same thing applies to hunting. And up here we've had a little of it, but not too much. The biggest complaint we used to get was people just come out and yelling at them.
Yeah.
You know, and tell them they're not allowed to be there, or we don't want you around the dock. But this down there was an extreme where he physically started throwing stuff in the water.
We had an individual in north central Florida just a couple of years ago that tried to harass a turkey hunter and parked a vehicle and opened the windows at daylight and started playing the radio. We had a local guy, and the guy he picked on, though, was an officer. The officer has his cell phone and calls and gets somebody to go there, and they actually arrested the guy and charged him with hunter harassment. But all he was trying to do, we got somebody that's driven for 200 miles to go turkey hunt, and it just a nutcase comes out there and wants to harass him.
You're about out of time.
We're about out of time. Okay. What we're going to do, this is part one of this. We're going to pick up part two. We'll try as soon as we can, next week or two.
Yeah, because something happened in the Keys yesterday that made the news. So
really?
That's another one.
We got 15 seconds left.
No, we'll keep it.
All right, so stay tuned. We'll get them on as soon as we can. We'll look at the schedule and get them back on and tell those stories, because we got a lot more to talk about on this. So thank y'all for coming on.
Thanks for having us on.
Hey, Winston, always.
All right, buddy. Y'all do something good.
Come to our banquet.
That's right, do that. Do something good, be a fellow man. Have a great day, and God bless.
God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.